welcome back to my podcast, The Good, the Bad, and the Future. I'm actually joined with my whole family. You have the whole Semkowski crew today. So you're gonna learn a little bit about us, each and every one of us, and our kind of family dynamic and what we do, what our family's like. And yeah, I hope you guys get to know us a little bit more, and you wrote in some of your questions that you wanna know about the family, so we're gonna answer all of your questions and fill in all the blanks. So I'll start with a little bio of like what we do and where we're at and where we're living and what we're kind of doing occupation wise right now. So maybe we'll start off with you, Mom, and give a little bit bio of like yourself.
Sure. My name is Heather, mother to Sarah, obviously. Bio, do we have to include ages? Or?
No, you can leave that out.
Okay, I'm in my latter middle ages. And I live in London, Ontario, originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba, which I still, for some reason, call home. And I make sure the family does go back to Winnipeg at least once a year, even if it is during the winter months. I guess today I work, I really enjoy being with the family, but I am at home. We also have a dog as well. I do a bit of fundraising or working on foundation work, as well as managing some properties. So I guess that's probably...
She does it all. She's a woman of many talents. She really is.
I'm not sure if I've answered your questions.
Are we getting into business as well here?
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into entrepreneurship too, because a lot of questions were coming in on that. And we have a big entrepreneurship family, I can say that. So we will go to you next of what you kind of do.
Brian, Dad, whatever I get called. And my background, I born and raised in London, Ontario, grew up in London in an entrepreneurial family. My dad owned a small business called Semco Paint, janitorial supply business. And I grew up working in that all my life, and then moved on, went to business school at Western, graduated, worked in the IT industry, and started some businesses from there. First one was Southwest Sun, then we did Select Technology Group, we did Audience View, we did Scalar, we did a bunch of different ones. We've owned Club Link, car dealerships, and now I'm own a brewery in London, Ontario called Equals Brewing Company, which does contract brewing for the craft industry, which is kind of our basis now. We have two products that are our own called Bangarang, which is a hard seltzer,
Delicious.
which people like, and Shake Lager, which was a beer that we did for my best friend who passed away from pancreatic cancer, and it raises some money. But the good news about Shake Lager is that it won at the best lager of the year last year, and we're hoping it will win again this year at the Canadian Brewing Awards.
Not only just a good beer, it has a great meaning behind it. So that's, and we do get a lot, like you guys are so inspiring too and work so hard at what you guys do, and I think that's helped us in our life, like even growing up too, to inspire us to like, we want to grind it out too. We want to get to where you guys are. Like we want to make a name for ourselves, and we want to like be happy and healthy and all this stuff and have a family just like this of our own. So we do have pretty great parents, I can say so myself. Yeah. But Pete, you go and you tell us.
Yeah, so my name's Peter. I'm the oldest of the family. So as of now, I own a company called Ox Inc., where we do technology installations, and it's kind of split into two businesses at this point. We have one where we have a residential sector, and we do is pretty much the best technician in your neighborhood, where we bring an Uber model to tech installations. And then the commercial side, we do everything from security systems. We do digital signage is a big way for us, and we run network cables, do network drops for businesses such as KFC, 7-Eleven, F45, large gyms. So it's come a long way from the beginning. And where I went to school, same as my dad, Ivy Business School. So originally I went into biomedical sciences, and throughout that I just figured out that it wasn't the right thing for me. So I made the transition after I graduated 4-year, and then I moved into Ivy, and it was the best decision I ever made. And now I'm currently living in Toronto, doing this business with some of my best friends.
Well said. Jen, let's hear about you.
Okay. So my name's Jennifer. I'm sister, not the favorite sister, because the dogs do take that title. I actually live now in Ottawa. I was born and raised in London, but I moved to Ottawa about 7 years ago, I think. That sounds so weird saying now. But I've been there ever since, and I actually just started teachers college, and I finished my first year, and I hope in another year when I'm actually done, I get to teach kindergarten. That's my favorite. I do not own a business, so I can't follow suit, but yeah, I'm in teaching and I love kids, so it's perfect for me.
Well said too. So let's kind of go back. So you did hear, obviously, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the family, and we all kind of are still very kind of entrepreneurship minds in our own ways too. But if we do kind of zone in on that, what's your guys' biggest, I'll aim it at like you guys. What are your guys' biggest kind of, if anyone wanted to start a business, what are some tips or anything that you would kind of give to them and want to say to them if they wanted to start something for themselves?
Okay, so I'll take this one if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
The one piece of advice I give to everybody is nobody wants to invest in a business on an idea. People want to invest in business that people can take that idea and bring it to life. So it's the management and the input into the business that means more than just the idea. You may have a great idea, but if you don't have the people that can implement it, it doesn't matter. And I don't care what business it is. If you put the right people in the right place at the right time, rowing in the right direction, that business will be successful. Problem is that people have these grandiose ideas of, oh, this is the greatest idea ever, but they don't want to put the effort into doing it. And as Peter will attest, and Mom will attest, starting a business is a lot of hard work, but it also is a lot of fun. So,
and pays off. And like when you say you need to find the right people, how do you find the right people?
Well, it's a test of a lot of character, I would say. I remember when we started Ox, and he was a big helper in that sense because I didn't know anything that what we were doing. But we had a team of 4, and sometimes even early on we butted heads, but I knew certain people like Raph, who's, been my partner for the longest period now. We have Nolan as well in now, but I knew we meshed and we got along with everything, and everything that we disagreed on, we never were mad at each other. We were we understood and we looked for the best solution, because at the end of the day, everything was what's going to make Ox better, because that's going to make us better. But other guys we were butting heads with, on certain topics pretty early, and I knew that it just wasn't going to be a lasting partnership, because I didn't feel like I was happy to have those arguments with him at the end of the day. And he was the first person that came to me and said, you need to have a team that's good with everything and that can deal with struggles and have better decisions made when you guys come together. And he was saying that the team is not the team that it's going to be for you guys to be successful. So it was tough to hear at first, but it really showed me the one guy I could take away from that was Raph, because he would be with me through everything. And then I started looking now as the teams, we're at about 15 people now, and the people that I like to have are the people that can go through, the worst times or be at a very low, but they're still pushing, trying to get better, or trying to make things go. So it's just having that inner drive is hard for people to have. A lot of people quit on things, and that's a big thing you can't have in entrepreneurship. So people's huge. And again, like my dad said, if you have a solid team, you can do pretty much anything.
So how did you meet your team? You said, because you started with
business school. So I graduated from biomed, had thought I was going to do sciences for the rest of my life, getting into university, and then quickly figured out that people weren't the right people for me. So when I got into business school, boom, huge eye opener. And so one of the guys Joshua started with was a guy I worked with at a golf course, and he was in my Ivy class. So that worked out. And then Raph sat beside him, but quickly through learning, like when you meet friends, you like people you get along with. And Raph was one I did right away. And then we ended up having a school project in my second year, and we took the entrepreneurial group of us 4, did the project, and it went from Raph to then bringing on people in your network who you think, who their character traits and could go with you through it.
Yeah, for sure. And you were going to say something? Go ahead.
I was just going to add I think a couple other things that I've noticed with the entrepreneurial, being successful is being passionate about what you want to do so that you are that cheerleader for that idea. And I think then you get other people also excited around it. And secondly, I think support of the family. I know you're working a lot of long hours. It does take away from a lot of the home life and things. So I think if you do have that support, either from your spouse or your kids have that from their parents, that seems to also help, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Being successful. And just, I think with Peter, we came from business school as well, but a few years back, we didn't have that entrepreneurial program. It was just different learning back then. Now, seeing Peter going through Ivy, that entrepreneur program was one that you could choose, and that's, I think, what kind of lit them up to kind of go through that project.
Yeah, because your project was what your business is now. Obviously changed a little bit along the way, but it did push you to start that, right?
100%.
Which is so helpful to give that little boot, because it is a big jump from saying it to actually doing it, and having just someone, like say, okay, that's a great idea, keep going on that journey is just like the help that you need. So your professors or whoever it is, like, it does kind of help you put you in the right direction. And who knows, some people probably didn't carry it out, but you did, and you put the hard work into it. And entrepreneurs, like, you guys could work for 24/7 on your jobs. Like, you can do it. So how do you find the break of like, okay, today I'm not going to work, or I need that little separation of time for myself? Like, how do you find that? Anyone can answer that question, because we all could be so like 24/7 invested in what we do. How do you guys find your break time?
I'll give a quick one, but like, I have OCD, so it's hard. Like, when I get into something, I want to make it as best as I can, and it's tough to pull myself away. But I guess it kind of goes back to having good people in your life, and like my girlfriend as well. She's amazing at telling me when I need to step away. And it's weird when you need to step away, and when you do, you clear your mind, and it's always a better comeback. So it's hard to always think that when you're in the groove of something, but I think having good people around you to kind of force you to do that.
Yeah. Anyone else want to pitch in on that?
I agree with that. Explaining to your family why you're doing what you're doing, explaining to your girlfriend, I got to get this done today. Here's what I got to do, and here's the stuff I can leave. But there's certain things, and if they're understanding about the things that you have to get done, and on the other side, there's the push that there's things that the family has to do too, and so it's the yin and the yang of everything that allows you to be successful. But if the person isn't willing to give in on, you're spending too much time at this, you're doing too much of this, you can't do this, oh my God, that won't be successful. So that's just not the right dynamic for you.
And especially with like spouses or girlfriends or whatever, or relationships, it's like, you're going to be with that person. They have to be motivational, just like you were saying, having those people around you too, to like encourage it and make it a positive. Like, everyone's going to go through with whatever work or they're doing a tough time in it. And you need that person or those people around you, whether it's a friend or a spouse or whatever, to give you that encouragement, and make it a positive space and be your cheerleader, like you said, or the person that can kind of just be like, it's going to be okay if something didn't work out.
Or be the grounded person that tell you, maybe you're going down a rat hole you don't need to go down. So that's part of the thing.
What about?
I think one of the things that's interesting though is, Peter met his partner at business school, Raf. One of my business partners is Paul Atkinson, who I did my thesis with in business school. We went on, we worked together, and then we ended up starting the business together. And Randy Gillies and Rick Baker, the four of us have been partners for, until Rick passed away, was 31 years. And now Randy and Paul and I will be almost 33 years together.
Wow, that's a long time.
Which is a long time. And to Peter's point, if you're going to have partners, you got to be able to go into a room, argue, fuss, and fight, but walk away and have a beer or go for a drink and do whatever and be friends again. What happens in the boardroom is different than what happens out in friendship. And you got to be able to distinguish that between the two, because you can't let it overlap or you will be in problems at some point.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because you have to communicate, because sometimes these partners are very smart and they're all wanting to do their own thing, but you have to make sure you're communicating even in the small phase, because each one of you are doing everything. You have to make sure that puzzle fits together. So that's key, because I think you're young, you have all this energy, you have great ideas, but just making sure that everybody's on the same page
Yeah.
all the time. And I think what you guys seem to be talking about a lot that kind of sticks out with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm wondering, even with Jenny, how did you, like with your whole team being your friends, how did you
I was going to
guys
touch on that.
jump away?
Because a lot of people do say that, like, that playing a sport for so long and having that strict routine is probably a lot. Just having that kind of, not stripped from you, but not doing that anymore, like, talk about how, like, the transition of that was for you.
Like life after sport, is what you're talking about? Yeah. For me, it was a really hard adjustment, and it's not something you're really prepared for before it happens. But you're right, like for majority of my life growing up, I was in competitive sports, and my whole life, my routine, everything was geared around that. And your schedule was very full, and you didn't have a lot of free time. So you did have to get things done in time slots and really plan your days, and your weekends were spent out of town playing games or on the road. And when that stopped, it was kind of crazy because you have so much free time that you don't really know what to do, because now you're not training for that sport. You're not investing your extra time and getting better at that. So you have to reevaluate, like, what do you want to do? And like, who are you as an individual? Like, who is Jennifer? What is Jennifer like? And you kind of reinvent yourself in the way of you find what you love outside of that sport. I still play hockey and I love it. And I still play with some of the girls I used to play with. And for me, that's really fun. But now it's a fun hobby. And I can also go and do other hobbies that I never really got to try and just see if I like them.
But the one thing that you know that sport did teach you is how to time allocate, which was
Balance.
with balance. Yeah,
Yeah, like
that-
fitting so much in one time.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's another thing though, like when you do that for so long and then you don't have to,
You don't
Have to
have
put
to
it in
do
place.
it.
yeah, it's
your
a weird
choice now.
feeling to
Yeah.
have free time of like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And something that stuck with me was something you told me. You're like, no one's gonna, or that video that you sent me, it was no one's gonna push yourself other than you. And I'm sure that if you don't have that schedule, some people just might go into a hole of like, you know, not doing as much or not planning as much. Do you find now that you plan most of your days more so, or is it like you enjoy the not having like such a strict schedule?
I don't know if it's because of sport or just my personality and who I am, I function on routine and on having a schedule. If I don't get a lot done because I don't know why, but if I have a schedule and a routine, I'm happier, I'm more productive, and it works for me. And it might be because that's how I've operated my whole life, but that's what works
you are.
best.
And I also think that we are a very calendar family. Like our mom, when we were growing up, had this big calendar.
Still do.
Yeah, still does. And now I have like 3 calendars that I go by. I see you writing in your calendar. Like I feel like we grew up on that routine lifestyle. Like
I have an agenda still. Like bring it back to school when you get an agenda. I have an agenda every year still.
yeah, same. And I literally write in my well, not an agenda, but I write in my like daily calendar every single day. And it really does help, and it helps you like look forward to things or get things done so you have that free time to do those other hobbies that you want to take up and stuff. And you love going for walks. Like it's probably like you can get your stuff done so you can do that or go see your friends or have that extra time. So it really is beneficial, at least for us. I think I could even say
for
like
our
all of
family,
us.
for
Yeah.
For sure.
For me, I'm 5 things a day. So I like to do 3 business. So that's like 3 major, I guess, push forward things.
Yep.
And then that's going to be filled up with a lot of stuff that you got to deal with that randomly pop up. And then I like to do 1 personal house thing. So even something like, I don't know,
Yeah, what does that mean?
clean or just do laundry or something I get done. Grocery shop, something that's, and then the last one is something physical activity. So
Okay.
hockey or workout this, these body parts, and I gotta stick to it. So if
Yeah.
it's leg day, it's leg day, right? But
cheating.
but yeah, and then I feel good, and I feel the worst when I get so clouded with little things that it takes away from my 3 top things of work, because it's not a growth day at all. It just becomes kind of a
And that-
junk day of things.
That also would make it so that those things are priorities. It's
Yeah.
not like sometimes I get lost in I should be doing that actually. That's a really good tip to use, because sometimes I have so much stuff in a calendar at once on one day and I'm like, okay, I have to get it all done, and you'll half-ass half the things because you're just trying to get it all done. Whereas if you had the priority and you're like, no, these are the ones I have to get done, and then if I get those done, then I can move to these other ones.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
what was it again? It was the three
Business, and then 1 house related personal, and then the last one would be a physical activity.
Okay, so the 3-1-1. If anyone wants to
3-1-1,
follow
yeah.
that, follow that.
I think we were probably taught in our first job together that you did A, B, and C categories. So the A's were top priority. If you have a list, do the A's first. The B's you can move to the next day if you had to, and as well as the C's, but those had to be done within maybe that week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And I like that you split it up too into different categories, because I'd put the last thing on my list probably like grocery or something, because like I'll make do.
Eats anyway.
I'll make do and I can Uber Eats it, but that it should be a priority, right? And that's a great way to do a healthy lifestyle, because you have those different categories to make sure that you hit too. So I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to start using that now.
Yeah, it's good.
So thank you.
3-1-1.
Okay,
Peter method.
Not saying it for nothing.
Peter's
Yeah.
3-1-1.
Yeah.
But let's move into kind of the family dynamic. People are asking, who calls the shots? What's your family like? Are you guys close? Someone said, is it a sit down big meal dinner, or is everyone on the go? That was one person's question. So let's answer some of those. Who calls the
third
shots?
one. You want to start with that one?
Yeah.
Third one's an easy one, I was
Yeah.
going to say. Right?
Yeah.
But,
We'll start with the first.
Okay.
Who calls the shots? Mom calls a lot of the shots.
I would say yes.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mom calls
Day
a
to
lot.
day, mom, but I would give like bigger things, dad.
Well, mom
Like
mom
events and
calls
stuff.
the decisions,
Yeah.
and then dad sometimes needs to enforce the decisions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's-
right. He'll
I
say,
don't like confrontation,
Yeah.
so I will make the decision. And if it's difficult and someone's got to be yelled at or something confrontational, I will
Pass
just
that
give
over.
dad that
Allocate
task
my
to
role.
do.
and like our mom is so talented in figuring things out. Like we will come to her for anything, or we have a trip planned or whatever.
Not
she'll-
everything and anything.
Yeah, literally.
No, but
Yeah.
I think, I have to say, growing up, maybe it's the Winnipeg roots, but I feel anything's possible.
back to Winnipeg.
And I still do. Like, I'm older, and I still think anything's possible if you set your mind to it. And if it's not plan A, it's plan B, but anything can be done. It's just the way, making sure it's detailed to be executed. So, yeah,
And-
I have fun with that. Like,
Yeah, and you've
if it
even-
makes sense and it's not a criminal offense, right?
And you've made even for trips and stuff, like you have everything so planned out. Like I feel like you just make do. You're like, if there's a will, there's a way. Well, like we can have this or we can do this, whatever. We'll figure it out. Well, there's a problem. Okay, we'll figure it out. And you have instilled that in me too, with the whole like, if you can't control it, don't worry about it, and we'll figure it out in some way, which is a great skill to have. And you are you calm me down whenever I'm so
As much as she
Yeah.
should.
She freaks me
I
out
like
when
that.
she calls you guys. Yeah.
No, it's having contingencies. So if you don't think this will work, what are some other options? And then you'll get it done.
Mom has a lot of backup plans. Like she has a plan, but there's always backup plans there that she knows about and are ready. So if it does, like if
Yeah.
we're away and something does happen, she's ready.
and she will drop everything to help her kids and
Oh, for
family.
sure,
So
Sure.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a number one.
I'll be
Right.
taking that into my family when I when I grow up. But okay, so the next question was, let's do the close thing. I could say that our family is very, very close. We've always have been, and we love spending time together. We love. This month we've seen each other a lot because it's a busy month for the Semkowski family. 2 birthdays. We had an event, and that we'll talk about in a sec. But yeah, like we love hanging out together. We love doing stuff. Like
It's
And
funny.
traditions, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
If,
Even my friends were like, "You guys have had a lot of family time this month." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a lot of fun." Yeah.
and we always do. Like May is the kind of week that or
But Jen's
month
birthday,
that,
your birthday.
yeah.
Oh, May's crazy. Yeah.
May's crazy. And we had Ernie's birthday.
and
Yeah.
Mother's Day was
Mother's
somewhere.
Day.
Mother's Day.
And yeah, Mother's Day, and sometimes this year my birthday falls on May long weekend, but a lot of May long weekends we've spent at our
We spent
cottage
it-
together. Like
Yeah.
we choose to do those things together, and I think I can even say my favorite time in life is when we're all at a cottage together with all of our friends mixed into one cottage, and we're just having like a great time with each other and each other's friends.
Yeah. Well, like for my friends look forward, and me, when we do have a cottage weekend, they're saying, is Jenny and Sarah coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
same.
that's what you know.
We're really lucky that like all of our friends are friends with all of us and each other. So it makes it really easy because no matter who's there, it's always a good time and you all hang out together.
And the ones that don't, they're probably not going to be your friends in a few years. I've learned that the hard way.
And then we also have special mention for Dad to going out for those grocery runs.
Yeah.
So that all the kids can be fed.
Yeah. And those
True.
big barbecue dinners.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always so much food and extra just in case.
Yeah, we always
And
have.
everyone still eats it.
Yeah.
That's Ukrainian
Yeah.
upbringing.
Yeah, the Ukrainian roots. Okay, our last question that I just, for the family dynamic was, people said, are you a family sit down, like dinners?
Yes.
Or a on the go, everyone's grabbing and going?
We
I didn't
like
know
to.
you
I
guys
think we
were gonna-
like to sit down for dinner.
I think when all you guys are home, we do sit down in the kitchen.
We make
for
an
sure,
effort to do
together.
that, yeah.
Yes. Not grab and go maybe for lunch or something, but for dinners, I think if we're all together, I've seen us more
Yeah.
around the table
Yeah. I
for
would
sure.
prefer it.
We make
Yeah.
time for it.
Yeah. Mhm.
But we don't have, we could not do it because we are all busy doing,
Yeah.
well, even doing hockey or sports when we were younger, but we always said dinner, you got to all sit at the table for however
Yeah.
long that was.
Yeah.
We used to do the what's one good thing and
I
what's
was
one
just gonna
bad
say
thing
that.
about your day and
Right.
go around the table. Whenever we had a full family dinner, which we tried every night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. Sports and stuff, we were busy. But whenever we did do that and we learned about each other's day.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, I would still want to do that today. Let's go around a table and talk
You
about.
still do for our birthdays.
Yeah. So I've made it apparent that now, I don't know how long it's been, like a year or two that I've been doing this, but whenever it's each other's birthdays, I like to go around and say like
something nice about
yeah,
it.
something nice about them. So
About
it's like
me, yeah.
I did start it at my birthday. I do, and it's like you don't hear that all the time from your family and stuff because we're all like here, there, and everywhere, and you don't hear what they are so grateful for you for like all the time. So it's really nice to sit back and think about it and then let that person know, and it's so warms my heart because I'm like, even if it's not about me and I hear it about, we just did it for Jen because it was her birthday and I heard something like Pete said and I was like, that is so nice.
Yeah.
And I think it hit home for you too. And it's things that you don't say all the time. So I'm happy that I've implemented that into our routines.
It's a really like feel good moment. Like in that time, no matter who it's about, it makes your heart really warm.
For sure. And everyone has to say something different.
Yeah.
You can't piggyback on somebody else's answer, okay?
Okay, the one thing about that though, and like when we were talking about business, is especially you two, is the one thing that you guys have always been really good at is making family time. Like for those events and the things that you know you need to be there for, or the weekends at the cottage, like you have always made sure you're there and made sure you're present and not doing your business work. So you've made that a priority. And like for me, I was really thankful because family time was super important to me and like our family, and it was nice that you guys always made that extra effort to be there.
I have to give Mom most credit because I would sneak off and have to do calls and
business
whatever.
calls.
But that's not in my mind though.
I
That's the
know.
thing.
Mom covered it up better than probably anybody because, but there was times that I would just sneak away into a bedroom and have to do calls because things had to happen, and which is fine. But
Yeah.
and then you come back
And
Yeah.
you're
Bigger
still on the
better.
jet ski.
and you're still
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
jet ski.
Yeah.
Driving the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I did have a question that someone asked, and it was, how did you, or who else in your family is into fashion, or how did you get inspired into fashion? Like, is it like our whole family is into fashion and stuff? And I want to say, even both my parents, like you love shoes. You love,
Oh, I love
like,
shoes, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge shoe guy.
And hats.
And my mom is like loves fashion, always on top of her game, and she always says that half of her wardrobe, I want to say,
Yes.
is, you can take it away.
Vintage. Do not throw anything out if that's any words of wisdom for anybody, because usually I'll be wearing something like, oh my gosh, that is so nice. 20 years old.
Yeah. The amount of times
Makes a comeback.
I've heard like 20, 30 years old, 20 years old of something that I'm like, that's really cute, it's almost every time.
Or you can mix and match things like new with old.
Yeah, and everything comes back. Everything comes back.
Everything, yes.
I mean,
Full
Dad
circle.
does say occasionally, are you really going to wear that? But
Vintage. But
'Cause
don't
he's
get
probably-
it wrong.
Yes.
You said don't throw anything out. Her closet's very neat and clean. There's not a whole
Yeah.
bunch of just random stuff.
She's not a hoarder,
Yeah.
but
No.
she.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But she keeps the good ones that are gonna make a comeback. She just knows. She knows.
and we can share shoes. All three of us have the same shoe size.
Yes.
The
Bonus.
girls.
That's
That's
lucky.
very
Bonus.
helpful.
Yeah.
I sometimes can't find my shoes, and I know that they are being used in Ottawa by Jen. So
And we are very appreciative for it.
Well, we do too.
yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah, you
closer
guys
to the
share.
same size, but
We share some things.
and we have a little different waist size, a little different.
We're close.
You
He
do.
does. He takes your Lululemon.
Yeah.
He likes that.
I
so,
like
yeah.
Lululemon. Yeah.
Okay, so people want to know who the kids are more like. So we'll talk about appearance and like just like our like how we are. Our
Well,
do you think we'll let you guys answer?
Peter and
Us
Mom
answer?
are spitting
Yeah.
images of each other,
Yeah.
so they look a lot alike. But I'm finding as Peter gets older, he's migrating to be more like me as a. And I don't know if that's because
And
he's in
career
business
path, yeah.
and career path and things. His habits are all like me, so more than Mom, I think. Where and maybe it's just the gender thing, but
Mom
he
turned-
still looks like his mother for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If we had that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
If people saw
We
that, they'd
do
be like,
have
what?
yeah, a picture that is very very similar. Like it is Peter when my mom was his age. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Peter with pigtails.
yeah, Peter.
And
with
it's
his
so
tails.
weird to look at. Like, it's so weird.
And
But
then
yeah.
Jennifer,
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer is a lot like me. She used to be just like me, but now she's migrating more to Mom again in her looks and her appearance, her styles. But her sense of humor is mine.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
We talk the same.
Maybe
We
we'll
talked
do
about-
Dad goes down the line and then you go down the
get it,
line
we
of
get
what
it.
your
And then maybe you kids describe what you
Okay.
think. Okay.
And then Sarah, I would say Sarah's definitely a combination of us. She's got my fight and Mom's pragmatic ways, I think, sometimes. But she's a combination, so that's kind of the way I give it.
yeah looks and
Looks and
Personality.
personality. I think you're just a combination of both of us.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Call them.
What do you think, Mom?
Well, I think same with what Dad said about looks for sure. A couple of you guys are combinations of us. Peter definitely dead ringer for me. But I don't know, like Peter, I do see some similar sensitivities and things
As
with
you.
me. And I'm gonna say possibly the OCD is from me as well. Sorry about that, but yeah. So I do see a little bit of just the way he approaches things.
Yeah.
A little bit with me for.
Definitely situationally, sometimes I would say with her, how she would react to certain things. Like take a step back and kind of let it go on in front of you and yeah. Whereas
it
you
go.
could be more
Yeah,
I'm
with-
frustrated.
Black
with
or white.
relationships too, like
Yeah.
in like not just with a significant other, but with like friends too. I feel like you handle situations a lot like Mom too would, and you've good advice too. Like both of you do, but you always are the more.
I'm not going to say empathetic, but like I'll say take a step back, put yourself in that person's shoes, or I don't know. I'm just a bit, again, maybe it's because I'm not confrontational or liking to be confrontational. I'll probably try to look at it a little differently. But
How about Jen?
Jen, yes, I see a little bit of Dad with some characteristics for sure. And
Definitely humor.
I think for, I do see for Jen and I, like just that, not maternal, but like just taking care of
Oh, for sure.
people
And-
and organizing, liking to balance a lot of things at once. So maybe a combination for sure.
And like you were trying to be a kindergarten teacher. Like that is, that's what she wants to. That's what she loves to do too. So
And I love kids too. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
She did like work with kids, and like I find a lot, especially now that I get older, a lot of the ways I do things are the ways you did things, or very similar in like the way we organize, the way we like your pen and paper, I'm pen and paper. Like it's just
Right.
little silly
Right.
things.
As you get older,
I notice it more.
Right.
yeah. And me?
And Sarah, I think I definitely understand you. I know what you're, and maybe I was like you as well when I was younger, but I certainly can read you well, I think.
Very well.
And you can tell me anything. I'm like, okay, either been there, done that, or something. But I think we've got a good relationship that way because
I think you know me better than I know myself.
You perhaps maybe
Yeah.
because you were like me at one point too. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And definitely look wise, I'm a combo. Everyone that has ever said anything, they've not even said you look more so like one. Anyone has just said I'm a mix.
Yeah.
I've gotten one. the whole time. And well, you,
I used
which
to
is
get
weird.
dad.
but-
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Jen and
Me and
Sarah.
Peter used to think people thought we were twins in high school. I was a little. I was like,
yeah.
whoa, I don't know how to take this
But
yet.
if I look so much like mom and you look like mom and dad,
Yeah.
but we're twins in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
Well, it's
It's
definitely
weird little-
as she gets older, she's looking more and more like her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
I look like what mom looked like at my age.
Yeah.
Like that. It's so weird to look at pictures now of her at her graduation because I'm like, that's me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would actually be
Yeah.
happy to look like you as I age. So
Yeah, but it's hard to tell because as you age,
Yeah.
you certainly don't look exactly like you did when you were younger.
Yeah. What I will say is that no matter what year it is, I'm 2 years older than Jen, but I was always looked at as the younger brother from a new person.
Yeah.
So
That's just a maturity level.
Everyone thought I was older. Yeah.
I think we all have gotten the comment that people think we look older than we are,
not me.
other than Pete.
Not me. Right, yeah.
Just the females.
Yeah.
Which is good for now, but
you'll like it
maybe
when
not.
you get older.
I like going on,
Yeah, I won't like it when I'm
Hopefully
older.
it just stops. It just stops. But yeah. So some people ask also core values. I want to touch on that. And then what do you think our family core values are? And somebody else also asked about how we give back to the community. And I know that our core values will lead us into that too.
combine them.
Yeah. So what do you guys think our core values as a family is?
I think the single core is family. We care about each other, and we care about that our family does well. And I think, one of the things that Mom and I tried to instill in you guys was a work ethic. Not to be the smartest person, not to be whatever, but if you worked hard at things, you'll be successful. And that was always what we wanted for you, is to just put the effort in. And if you put the effort in, you got a B, great. If you put the effort in, you got an A, better. It didn't matter what the mark was. It was the effort that you put into it that we really cared about. And as long as you tried your best, good by us.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
That's all I remember is everything you do it at 100%.
right.
And the line that you'd always say is, it doesn't matter what you're doing, the best of the best will always make $1 million.
Right.
So whether you're a chef, whether you're anything, if you're good at what you do and happy and working as hard as you can.
Well said.
I think that's a good point. Like the happy, no matter what you're doing, we want to make sure core value is that you're happy.
And you always say, follow your dreams.
Yes, and I think you've got a poster in your room for that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will say, "What are you doing, switching from biomed to business?" But it's follow your dreams. That's and for fashion, you've wanted to do fashion since you were little,
Came out of the
and
womb.
we enabled you for that. It was like, fine, you know what? If that's what you want to do, let's do it. So I think just making sure you're happy and respect. I know,
Yeah.
Brian, we're both big on respect. Didn't matter what you're doing, you had to be respectful to other people.
To everyone.
Yes.
Everyone. Regardless of where they are, where you are in life.
Right.
Which is, yeah. And I can say that we will still follow that, and we still do follow that. And I'm so grateful for how you guys did raise us, because I'm happy of how we're turning out. So,
And to be grateful too for things. Like don't expect any, nothing should be given to you. You should be very grateful
Yeah.
for everything that you
Work for
have
it.
or that you work for.
Yeah.
and that goes back to they give 100% to everything that you do too. And then let's move into how we give back. As someone said, how do you guys give back to the community? And I thought about what just happened of you. I'm not going to explain it, I want, because you'll probably explain it better, but the Ukrainian event of fundraiser to raise money. So maybe you can touch on that one too.
I think there's a couple of ways we give back. Heather and I, with our family, started the Brian and Heather Semkowski Family Foundation that gives back monies to different charities every year. And Mom runs that, is the president of that, and takes in people giving or asking for donations. And we go through them and we make decisions.
Yeah, and we've got kind of a core value or mission around what we think we want to give towards what kind of near and dear to our hearts. So that helps us figure out where we want the monies to go.
It was originally, we give to those things that directly or indirectly affect our family. And cancer's been one that's affected our family in tough ways. Diabetes. The hospitals have always been very good to us and have helped us through the ways. And now, I grew up as a Ukrainian. My dad was born to Ukrainian immigrant parents, and they raised us, and we were very close with our grandparents. and the Ukraine's going through a very tough time now. So we did a fundraiser with a buddy of mine in London named Walt Spivak and Peter Krywarek, and we did a fundraiser for them to almost, I call it the cavalcade experience, where people got immersed into the culture of the Ukraine and brought it to the forefront of what is going on over there. They're a peaceful nation that's trying very hard to defend themselves against a very aggressive person in Putin, and doesn't care about people's lives or what's going on, and he just wants to take. And these people are standing up, and the resiliency of them. And so we did this fundraiser the other night, and it was a huge success. We hope to be over $500,000 and raised in one night for this experience. We called it the Ukrainian experience, and it brought people to a place and a time where they could give back, and they felt really good in doing it. And they got to see what the food was like, the dance was like, the music was like, and we're happy. At the end of it, I think everybody was enamored with what they saw.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
It was fun.
And we learned even more about Ukraine too, like
Our heritage.
yeah, our heritage, and it was for a great cause. So I'm so happy we did do that, and we could be a part of it, and we could all be there. So yeah, that was amazing. And then so I'm gonna quickly end on a little game. I thought it'd be fun if we have some questions that you guys will say what you think your answer is, and it'll be like most likely to for the kids. Okay?
Oh.
So I only have 5. So the first one will be most likely to get married first.
Do we have to agree, like talk
Nope,
it out?
you can-
You have to
do
explain
whatever.
it.
You can
Yeah.
point.
Well,
Most likely to get married first? Okay, my answer is Peter.
You?
I would say Peter too.
And I think that's probably a
I agree.
good answer because
Peter, do you want to
Peter's the
comment?
only one that really, yeah. You happy with that?
sure, I am
surprised?
happy with it. I am happy as I am right now. So yeah, that would be no problem with me.
Okay, and then this is a little bit of the opposite, and we won't get offended, but so don't get offended. But most likely to be divorced.
Ooh.
Ooh. We're
Wait
not
till they're-
divorced, so I don't
I
know
know,
if that's...
but if
I don't even want to answer that.
heated question, we won't take offense, and I think I know this is where this is going to be
I have an
going,
answer.
Can I give an answer?
Yeah. Me and Peter have one. Buzz.
and it's me.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
I'll give it a shot. It's probably Sarah. If it's
Probably
anybody.
My
Sarah will
relationships
be
haven't
in a
worked out.
high, intense fashion thing in New York where she's gonna end up dating or marrying someone who probably isn't right for her, and then she realizes that. But then you meet the good guy.
Oh,
And it's all
but you
good.
Okay.
forgot though that her mother perhaps might be talking in one ear to her.
Yeah.
So she might not be pursuing
I
that
mean,
May not
path.
happen.
I had a
Voice of
feeling
reason.
that was going to be,
The voice of
forget.
reason.
yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be the answer, but I will do whatever I can to not be divorced.
I know,
But
and,
no,
and
that-
we
that's
will.
only-
I think that's
I'm
fair.
gonna say no
It's
one.
just
That's
because we
only
have to pick someone.
if someone had to.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
I'd say that the
Not
odds are
offense or not taken.
Okay.
Okay, next question is have the biggest family.
I'd say Jenny.
Yeah, Jennifer
Yeah,
always
probably.
wanted to have 8 kids, like
Yeah.
Kate plus 8 or
Yeah,
whatever
that
that reality
show.
We've
show was.
narrowed it down after working with kids. I realized it's a lot
Eight's
more
a little
exhausting
many.
than I thought. Yes.
Well, I can say probably Jen, but I can also say that I think the 3 of you would be good parents. Like I think you understand what it's like to grow up. You've grown up in a family full of love and whatever. You understand what it is to give love and take it. So I think you'll all be good parents, but I do think
It's
Jen.
about having children.
It's-
I
yeah,
understand,
how
but
many
I
you have
think
it.
I think Jen will be the one that wants them the most. I think
I
once you
agree.
2 have them, you'll go, oh my God, I wish.
You may
add
have
more.
2
Not having
or
8 though.
3.
Oh
Oh
She'll
my gosh.
have 6.
I'm capping it at 4.
Jen
I mean,
wants
3
only
kids.
4.
Yeah, you guys may have 2 and 3. She'll have 6.
Okay, I'm going capping at 4.
Okay.
Okay. Fit in the
have
car.
7.
On the record.
Yeah, on the record, only 4.
Okay, next question is biggest handful. Who's the biggest handful out of the 3? But all through all of life,
Oh, I know,
okay?
I know. This is
Okay,
a
but
tough
that
one.
varies though, I think,
Yeah.
because very young, I'm going to say Peter.
Yeah, I agree.
Was high energy,
Blimey.
push the envelope perhaps.
Weapon.
Love him to death, but that would when he was younger.
Okay.
And then perhaps Sarah when she's younger, or no, getting middle older, teen. Like I'm gonna say high schoolish, and
Yeah,
then
as soon as
there's
you entered
Jen,
high school.
and then maybe Jen later. I don't know.
Downhill from there. I'm just a handful. No, yeah, I could see that too. I can agree with that. Jen's like just the poster child. She's
Well,
I don't
there's
know,
been
she's
times she's
I'm more subtly a handful. I'm just not as loud about
subtle,
it.
yeah. And then it's like, where did that come from, Jen? Like the peacemaker. So
I don't think you ever got like in trouble as a kid.
Yes, once me and Peter broke a vase. Peter got in trouble.
Yeah.
I cried. Poppy protected me, and so I was safe. And Peter took it. Thanks, buddy.
Take the blame always for it, Jenny.
Okay, last question. Most mature for their age.
I'm gonna say all three. I
Okay,
think
you can't
got,
say that.
Why can't I not?
You have to pick one.
Because
you
you're
can
each,
talk
you're
about
all
it.
at different ages right now. So I think for your age, each one of you are very mature because
I think we all are mature, but who's the most mature?
Oh, I'm.
Well, I think Jen was for the longest time. Peter stepped into a role that is pretty mature,
Yeah.
other than the stuff that needs to get done sometimes, but the little things. But then again, Sarah stepped up her game too, because
I'm gonna
as
say
in
all
owning a
three.
house and whatever. Okay,
And
you need to
living
get
on
this
your
done, this
own
done, and
and
this
stuff,
done.
yeah.
Sarah does it, and Jen just calls me and goes, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh."
It's the calendars. You
It's
gotta
the
put
calendar,
more on
yeah.
the calendar.
Jen might be the handful now.
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
because
Later,
I'm
but-
the
furthest
you
away. I
younger.
don't
the
have
furthest
help.
away,
Sarah
that's
in high
hard.
school. Jen, as she's gotten older. Perhaps.
Okay.
So me, Sarah, Jen.
Correct. That would
All right,
be
great
I
answer.
think.
Okay, well, that is all. I want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast. I hope the audience learned a little bit more about our family and we answered all of your guys' questions. But thank you guys for listening and tuning in. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. I will see you next Wednesday.